Le'Veon Bell, also known as Juice, Le'Veon, and Bell, was a 6-foot-tall and 225-pound massive force on the field. Arguably one of the best backs to play the game. Do you remember what happened to him? All of a sudden, he fell off the planet at his peak. The check down was unstoppable, as Le'Veon was a great receiver with incredible speed. He played college football for the Michigan State Spartans. The Pittsburgh Steelers selected him in the second round of the 2013 NFL Draft. Le'Veon has also played for the New York Jets, Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Le'Veon Bell quickly became known for his unique running style, combining patience and explosive speed. He earned multiple Pro Bowl selections and was named first-team All-Pro several times. Bell set the Steelers' franchise record for most rushing yards in a single postseason and was often among the league leaders in rushing yards and receptions by a running back. Bell is also a boxer and a rapper off the field and has released music under the name Juice. Despite facing challenges like contract disputes and injuries, he always bounced back with determination. But how good was Le'Veon Bell actually? To fully understand his talent, we must start from the beginning. Bell was born on February 18, 1992, in Reynoldsburg, Ohio. He went to Groveport Madison High School in Groveport, Ohio, where he played football, basketball, and ran track. As a running back for the Groveport Cruisers football team, he ran for 789 yards and 9 touchdowns as a sophomore. In his junior year, he rushed for 2,100 yards and 13 touchdowns. As a senior, he racked up 1,333 yards on 200 carries with 21 touchdowns, earning first-team All-Ohio Capital Conference Ohio Division honors. In basketball, he earned second-team All-OCC Ohio Division honors as a junior. In track and field, Bell ran the 100 and 200-meter dashes and excelled in the high jump with a personal best of 6 feet and 8 inches. Despite being a 3-year starter, Bell was considered a 2-star recruit by ESPN.com and ranked as the number 211 running back in the nation in 2010. He had limited scholarship offers from Bowling Green, Marshall, and Eastern Michigan, but hoped to attend Ohio State. His high school principal, Donis Toller Jr., believed Bell was under-recruited and reached out to Michigan State's head coach, Mark D'Antonio. Bell graduated from high school early in 2010 and started attending Michigan State that spring semester. Bell made an immediate impact as a freshman during the Spartans' 11-2 season, which was then the most wins in a single season in school history. In his college debut against Western Michigan, he rushed for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns on just 10 carries. He had another standout game against Northern Colorado with 92 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Bell finished the season with 605 rushing yards on 107 carries and 8 touchdowns, along with 97 receiving yards and 142 kickoff return yards, totaling 844 all-purpose yards. As a sophomore, Bell's role increased. He started strong with 2 rushing touchdowns in the season opener against Youngstown State. Against Central Michigan, he had 81 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Bell led the Spartans in rushing with 948 yards on 182 carries and 13 touchdowns for the season, helping the team to an 11-3 record. In his junior year, Bell became the primary running back for the Spartans. He opened the season with a huge game against Boise State, racking up 210 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. He followed that with a career-high 253 yards against Eastern Michigan, earning the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week award. Bell finished the season with 1,193 rushing yards, the second most in the Big Ten Conference, and 12 touchdowns. His 1,193 rushing yards were the second highest in Michigan State history for a single season, behind Lorenzo White's 2,066 yards in 1985. After his junior season, Bell decided to enter the 2013 NFL Draft, foregoing his senior year. The Pittsburgh Steelers selected Bell in the second round, with the 48th overall pick in the 2013 NFL Draft. He was the second running back chosen that year, following Giovanni Bernard of the Bengals. On June 3, 2013, Bell signed a 4-year, $412 million rookie contract with $2,027 million guaranteed and a $137 million signing bonus. Bell entered training camp competing with veteran Isaac Redman for the starting running back position. However, in his second preseason game against the Washington Redskins, Bell suffered a midfoot sprain, which did not require surgery but kept him out for the first 3 weeks of the regular season. On September 29th, Bell played his first NFL game at Wembley Stadium in London, where he rushed for 57 yards on 16 carries and scored 2 rushing touchdowns, while also catching 4 passes for 27 yards in a 34-27 loss to the Minnesota Vikings. His first professional touchdown came on an 8-yard run in the first quarter. Following this, the Steelers released Isaac Redman on October 24th. In his final game of the season on December 29th against the Cleveland Browns, Bell broke Franco Harris's Steelers rookie record for total yards from scrimmage with 1,159 yards. Bell finished his rookie season with 244 carries for 860 rushing yards and 8 rushing touchdowns, along with 45 receptions for 399 yards. Bell began his second season as a starter in the season opener against the Cleveland Browns, finishing with 21 carries for 109 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, and 6 receptions for 88 yards in a 30-27 home victory. On September 21st, in Week 3, Bell and LeGarrette Blount both rushed for over 100 yards each against the Carolina Panthers, with Bell recording 21 carries for 147 rushing yards, including a career-long 81-yard run. On November 30th, Bell had a season-high 8 receptions for 159 receiving yards and accounted for 21 carries, 95 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown in a 35-32 loss to the New Orleans Saints, earning AFC Offensive Player of the Week honors. Bell had a breakout season in 2014, transitioning from rookie to All-Pro. Bell averaged 4.7 rushing yards per carry, up from 3.5 YPC in 2013. He completed the regular season with a career-high 290 carries, 361 rushing yards, 8 rushing touchdowns, 83 receptions, 854 receiving yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. After being arrested with then-teammate LeGarrette Blount on DUI and marijuana possession charges in August 2014, Bell was suspended by the NFL for the first 4 games of the 2015 regular season. Bell made his 2015 debut in Week 3 against the St. Louis Rams on September 27th, finishing the game with 19 carries for 62 yards and a rushing touchdown, along with 7 catches for 70 receiving yards. The following week, he rushed for a season-high 129 yards and a touchdown on 22 attempts in a 23-20 loss to the Baltimore Ravens. Unfortunately, on November 1st, Bell suffered a season-ending torn MCL during the second quarter against the Cincinnati Bengals, after being tackled by linebacker Vontaze Burfict. The Steelers placed him on injured reserve the next day, ending his season. Bell made his 2016 season debut on October 2nd, recording 18 carries for 144 rushing yards and 5 receptions for 34 receiving yards in a 43-14 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. On November 13th, in Week 10, Bell had 17 carries for 57 yards and scored his first rushing touchdown of the season, adding 9 receptions for 77 receiving yards and his first receiving touchdown of the season during a 35-30 loss to the Dallas Cowboys. On December 11th, Bell broke the Steelers' franchise record for rushing yards in a game with 236 rushing yards on a career-high 38 carries, scoring 3 touchdowns in a victory over the Buffalo Bills. The previous record was held by Willie Parker with 223 yards in 2006. Bell's performance earned him the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Bell made his playoff debut on January 8, 2017, setting a playoff franchise record with 167 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on 29 carries in a 30-12 victory over the Miami Dolphins in the AFC wildcard round. Bell became the first NFL player to rush over 150 yards in his first 2 playoff games, setting a record for most rushing yards in a player's first 2 playoff games. He was also one of 4 players to rush for 150-plus yards in back-to-back playoff games and one of 3 with 2 160-plus yard playoff games in a career. On February 27, 2017, the Steelers placed the franchise tag on Bell. On September 24th, Bell had 6 receptions for 37 receiving yards, 15 carries for 61 rushing yards, and scored his first touchdown of the season on a 1-yard run as the Steelers lost to the Chicago Bears by a score of 23-17. During Monday Night Football against the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 13, Bell recorded 182 total yards of offense, with 106 receiving yards, 76 rushing yards, and a touchdown as the Steelers won 23-20. In Week 14, against the Baltimore Ravens, he had 13 carries for 48 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns in a 39-38 victory. Overall, he finished the 2017 season with a league-high 321 carries for 1,291 rushing yards and 9 rushing touchdowns to go along with 85 receptions for 655 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. He was ranked 5th by his peers on the NFL Top 100 Players of 2018. On January 11, 2018, Bell said that if the Steelers franchise tagged him again, he would definitely consider sitting out for the year or retiring from the NFL. In 2016, Bell reportedly turned down a 2-year deal worth $30 million. Bell said he was not concerned about making the most money possible, but instead wanted to be paid for his value to the team, reportedly saying, "I just want to be valued where I'm at and just get the numbers straight, exactly where we want them. I'm not going to settle for anything." The Steelers ended up losing to the Jaguars in a high-scoring 45-42 affair, in which Bell carried the ball 16 times and had 67 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown to go along with 9 receptions for 88 yards and a receiving touchdown. On March 6, 2018, the Steelers placed the franchise tag on Bell for the second straight year, worth $14.5 million. Bell refused to sign the franchise tag and did not attend any team activities after contract negotiations stalled on July 16th. Le'Veon Bell signed a 4-year, $52.5 million contract with the New York Jets in 2019, making him the second highest-paid running back in the NFL. During the 2019 season, he recorded 789 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and 66 receptions for 461 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. In 2020, Bell started as the Jets' running back but suffered a hamstring injury in Week 1 and was placed on injured reserve. After returning in Week 5, he was released by the Jets on October 13th. He then signed a 1-year contract with the Kansas City Chiefs on October 17th, finishing the 2020 season with 328 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 16 receptions for 138 receiving yards. In 2021, Bell joined the Baltimore Ravens practice squad and later the active roster, recording a touchdown before being released on November 16th. He then signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on December 22nd, scoring a touchdown from Tom Brady in Week 18. Bell was released on January 22nd, 2022. Be sure to subscribe and thanks for watching.